The time has come to talk about. Son of a bitch, that's the wrong way to turn it. The Wheel of Time! Eye of the World. So, I started listening to The Eye of the World about a week ago, and yes! Okay? I liked it. So, I'm on book 3 as of recording this, but seriously, for Eye of the World, I did enjoy it. I really enjoyed it, and I loved how I didn't really love anything about The Eye of the World. I liked The Eye of the World. It felt like a wonderful, delightful setup for what is to come. And all these different characters getting placed in position to really help our main cast of characters grow and start to understand the world. I also think it was a very smart idea because the setting was very well placed because it's the small kid going into the big world. And I think it's different from normal, unless I'm crazy, just because of the way it feels a little bit more. No, it is the normal thing. You go out into the world. I just don't see it a lot, you know? A lot of people go, oh, it's so generic. I mean, yeah, it's generic, no shit. But it's nice to see a story that does do the small kid going into big world again. I like it, okay? And I loved all the little tidbits of the world that we got. How we had Saidar, Saidin, and then all the little pieces. And then I just, all the pieces of the lore, all these things that had happened in the past. And then the prologue was that was fucking cool. I mean, I hope you don't mind me spoiling the prologue, but a fucking mountain was made as a guy died. Like, he died and then he builds this fucking mountain as he dies, as his fucking gravestone. That's badass. And that's fucking cool, if you ask me. And, I mean, I loved it. I didn't love book 1, but, like, thinking back on it, I'm loving it. And Moiraine was a bit of a bitch throughout the entire thing, but I digress. With the main cast of characters, though, the standout for me out of Mat, Rand, and Perrin, I actually think Rand in this book is the most boring of the trio. And I think Perrin just stood out. And I can't quite label why without going into spoilers, but Perrin had the most and drastic movement throughout this entire novel of, okay, this is how I have to grow, this is where I need to go. And it was amazing. I loved Perrin's development, and really all these kids having to learn this is how we gotta deal with the world at large. It felt very nice to me. I really enjoyed it, and it was very peaceful, not quite though, as we're going on a little bit of a trek. And it's a fantasy quest, and I really did enjoy it. And I can't think of anything else. Theme work was fantastic, or maybe not fantastic, but you can see the groundwork for one of the core themes that I know is a part of the series. Men and women working together despite our differences. And I could see it, and I really, really liked it. I loved the way Emond's Field was structured into how the mayor is elected from the men, and then the wisdom is elected from the women, and then they have kind of two it's more matriarchal, but it's also we're working together to establish this place of peace. And I loved how much history it had alongside every other place. Every other place has so much rich history. And then the breaking of the world. It's a post-apocalypse, and post-apocalypses are my jam. Though, admittedly, not my favorite kind of post-apocalypse. Well, no, I do quite like that kind of post-apocalypse. I like it. It's a post-apocalypse. I like all post-apocalypses because they're fucking cool, okay? But I think that's all I have to say without spoilers. So, a 3, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Goodbye. If you haven't read The Eye of the World. So, oh, yes. I loved Perrin and the Wolves. That, Perrin and Elias. Egwene didn't have a lot to her in this book, I think. Other than, I like Rand. That's how she felt. Though she did have her own agency, she didn't feel very fleshed out. And I know that she gets better in future books. I know that. But she doesn't feel that very fleshed out, from my memory. And, but Nynaeve? God, that sounds so weird coming out of my mouth. Nynaeve is what I'm going to say. But I loved her. And her and Lan was a delightful dynamic throughout the entire book. And also her interactions with Moiraine. She fucking hates Moiraine, but I also loved the way she's always trying to look out. She's trying to look out for the kids. She's trying to focus on her people rather than Moraine's goals. Give me a second. I gotta go do that in a second. Anyways, but I loved the way she interacted with Moiraine. I just don't know if I can get behind Lan and her quite yet. Just because it doesn't feel like they've had enough time together. You know what I mean? Like, to actually create a bond that is romantic in that way. But I liked it, regardless. And I loved the Green Man. He was fucking cool. And how he's like this old, ancient version of the Ogier. I thought that was really cool. And it was... that whole ending sequence was also really cool. And then Rand learning how to channel, and that he can channel, and we go, oh shit, Rand can channel, even though I knew he was going to be able to channel. I mean, come on, I knew going into the Wheel of Time that it was a Chosen One series, so he was obviously going to be able to channel. But I did quite like the moment, and okay, give me a second. My medicine alarm is going off. My medicine alarm is off now. But so many things about this book. And then there's Mat. Jesus Christ. And I love how, from the beginning, we are set up with Mat to be this mischievous little shit. He's gonna be, like, pickpocketing people. He's gonna be screwing with people. Well, maybe not pickpocketing, but, like, screwing with people. And he's going to be a little bit of a greedy little bastard. And then, of course, he fucking steals the dagger from Shadar Logoth. Shadar Logoth. I think that's right, yeah. And you're just sitting there going, why the fuck did you do that, Mat? And, but he uses the small goddamn technicality that Moiraine has, and just like, did he give anything to you? And then he goes, no, he didn't give anything to me. We find out 100 pages later, I stole something from him. I love Mat, though. I know. I just love Mat. But, another thing that I loved. So, throughout the entire book, when you go to Rand's perspective, he'll go, damn it, I wish I were like Matt and Perrin. They both know how to deal with girls so well. And then you switch over to, like, Perrin's point of view, and he's like, God damn it, I wish I were like Rand and Matt. They know how to deal with girls so well. I love it. I loved it so much. It was so small, and this little detail, like, keeps coming back, but you just, I can't help but, it gets a little chuckle out of me, because I'm going, oh, of course. Because it's like they're so in their own heads that they're like, oh yeah, these two, of course they're so good at dealing with people. But then look at me. And I also think it's very well reflective of how we tend to view better of other people versus ourselves. And I love that little tidbit because I heard it again and again. I'm like, hold on, are they going back and forth? Like when we go to Rand, is he talking about everybody else as if they're better at the other parts of the trio, as if they're better at talking to girls than him, and then Perrin's doing the same thing? They do. But it was absolutely amazing. And Perrin, again, was my favorite section. I love wolves. Wolves and dragons are the most badass creatures, best animals in all fantasy, just all media, period, end of story. I love wolves, I love dragons, so I got wolves. I'm happy, that's all, and we also got dragons, Dragon Reborn, but I love the wolves, and so Perrin having that wolf-like mentality, I wonder if that's gonna affect him in future books going on. Like, is the mentality of a wolf going to affect him? And that's what I'm very curious going on in the series, because it's such a cool idea, you know, to become one with the wolf. I don't know, I love it. And then Elias was awesome. We got to go see the steading, and we got a little bit of lore for Arthur Hawkwing, who was really cool. And I mean, there's just so much to talk about, you know? Like, what else? I could talk about Caemlyn. Oh! And then, in Caemlyn, what's his name? Rand falls and starts talking to Elaine, and he gets caught up in all this Aes Sedai shit. And how he stirs up the pot. Of course he does. Because he's ta'veren, so he has to. And I love the idea of ta'veren, too. This idea of these people are coming in and they're meshing. They're like, it's like a spider web, and this is where a lot of the points converge. And I thought that was a fantastic idea. Also, the Wheel of Time. I mean, you know, the words. The Wheel of Time weaves and ages come and go, blah, blah, blah. You know the drift. But, it was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. And getting to see Elaine and Gawain, was that his name? Or Gawain, yeah. And then Galad, and all the characters in the castle, and how she's gonna go become an Aes Sedai. And like a powerful Aes Sedai from what they seem to be talking about. And they're going, oh, she could, like, this would be insane because she's going to be the queen of Andor, and that's cool. Like, imagine that, an Aes Sedai queen, and like we get to see it in the story. I think that'd be really fucking cool. And I mean, what else? I also loved the Borderlands. And actually, just seeing the difference between the Borderlands and some place like Emond's Field. So in the Borderlands, they have that reverence for the Aes Sedai. When you go down to Emond's Field, it's like, no, shit, the Aes Sedai? The Dark Friends! And you go, no, they're not Dark Friends! Or are they? Who knows? But clearly Moiraine was not happy with that. But I also loved the idea that the Dark One spies on people through ravens, kind of like Odin. I loved that piece too. So many little tidbits that we get throughout the novel are just so cool, and I also wonder, like, could some people just read The Eye of the World and be satisfied? Like, okay, I read The Eye of the World. That's good for me. I don't think anybody should try going into this series reading Eye of the World and then saying, that's it. No, I think you should at least read books 1 and 2. But, like, if this is could this be satisfying enough for someone? Because it felt satisfying enough for me. Like, if I wanted to just stop there, I could just stop there. Regardless, I'm not stopping there because it's amazing. Obviously, I haven't stopped there. I'm on book 3. But, I mean, what else is there to talk about? Oh my god, I didn't even talk about Tom. Tom Maryland. What is there to say? Tom's awesome. I love Tom. And how Tom gave Mat and Rand the flute, and how they'd play the flute for their meals on their way to Caemlyn. I loved that little section. And I actually really liked how they got split up, and then they had to all meet back in Caemlyn, and then Loial, I love Loial, by the way, had to take them across the ways and bring them to the Borderlands. And that was another thing. The ways, scary shit, but also awesome, because they were made with, was it saidin or saidar? I think it's saidin is the male half. And how it was made with saidin, and that's so interesting to me. It makes me wonder what the ways actually are, because, I mean, you know, they're made by saidin. That doesn't make too much sense, yeah, but, like, we have, what, is it 4 elements of the ice, of the one power, like earth, spirit, wind, and something else, and earth and wind are the male half. So if that's the case, then how is that made, you know? And I'm just curious, and I hope we get more of an answer to that. Or if we don't, that'd also be cool, because then I can just speculate. But I feel like it's going to be a little important, you know? And that was another awesome part of the book. So I think that's about all I have to say about The Eye of the World. And then I'll be talking about The Great Hunt very soon. Tell me, have you read Eye of the World? No, wait, if you're staying this far, you probably have. But if you haven't, go fix that. Go read Eye of the World, and then go read The Great Hunt. And then come back. Or, well, go read Eye of the World, then come back. You'll be good. But anyways, that's about all I have to say. Tell me, do you like Eye of the World? Do you like Wheel of Time? You probably do, since you're watching this video, but I digress. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will see you all next time.